you're polygamous, so it's kinda like they're
Yeah,
also
so I
learning.
wasn't supposed to fall in love?
I don't know.
I
I think the tenet was to love everybody equally.
try that.
No.
Try your relationship with all your children.
It's May now, and believe it or not, this saga began all the way back in September. 9 months later, we've reached the climax, the infamous tell-all. You'd think that after everything this family has been through, especially with the heartbreak of Garrison's funeral, there might be some closure. Kody even claimed that everything had been buried, emotionally, spiritually, along with Garrison. The family had supposedly come together in unity, but that illusion was broken almost at once. Actually, the cohesion didn't even survive the funeral, and to Garrison's misfortune, every second of that mayhem played out in front of the camera. Now, as we revisit the tell-all shows, the tension is once again in full force. All-out arguments, recriminations hurled back and forth, Kody and Robin accusatorially finger-pointing everybody but themselves. That's where things really got under the skin. After years of Kody insisting that he loved each of his wives equally, after telling us over and over that this was one big, functional, happy family, we're finally seeing the truth unravel. And let's be honest, had Christine not walked away, he'd still be spinning that same tired narrative today. He never would have admitted his favoritism toward Robin. He only started being honest when the women stopped playing along. That's the difference now. The women ceased covering up for him. They knew the truth. They witnessed the favoritism, but they remained quiet for so long. Now they've had enough. And Kody? He's tired, not of guilt, not of introspection, but of being held responsible. He's tired of explaining the consequences, and to be honest, a lot of us are tired of listening to his reasons, but there's still more to untangle. And Suki, the host, is charged with doing exactly that. She's there to find the answers, recap the season, make sense of the wreckage, and to do that, we need to rewind all the way back. It begins with Mary leaving, then Janelle actually moving to North Carolina. By the end of season 18, the family was on thin ice. Season 19, that was the last straw. There's no turning back. The family as a whole has disintegrated, and yet here we are again, attempting to reconstruct what happened wrong. And what does Kody do? He distorts history. In order to defend himself, he creates the image of being the powerless victim, simply a man who fell in love. He does it about romance, not duty, but that entirely misses the point. And worse, rather than having an honest, respectful discussion, he explodes, even at Suki. For the first time, it appears even she's tired of Kody's defensiveness and condescension. Honestly, if someone ever spoke to me the way Kody does on that set, I'd walk away. No job is worth that kind of disrespect. What's more disturbing is his language. He continues to speak in ways that are harsh, objectionable, and dismissive. And even after the devastating loss of his son, he still refuses to reflect. He still won't own up to how his choices fractured his family. Kody maintains that there's a divine quality to his relationship with Robin, and insists they've been persecuted as a result. He claims to go around flipping two birds because he's sick of being blamed for loving her. But come on, that's not love. That's deflecting. That's arrogance. And when individuals don't wish to reply to a query, they tend to shout, posture, make a scene just to steer clear of fact. And that is precisely what Kody is doing. The initial idea of plural marriage was that you broaden your ability to love, to expand. But here, the system was fundamentally broken from the start by a man such as Joseph Smith, who employed polygamy as an excuse for cheating. It never had anything to do with fairness or equality, and Kody's inability to recognize that, even now, is insightful. He isn't upset because he's misunderstood. He's upset because people have stopped accepting his version of the story, and that's why this tell-all matters. Because for once, we're watching the mask slip. Now, here's something that's been on a lot of people's minds, and it's fair to ask. If Kody thinks his union with Robin is divine, what does that indicate about the others? Was Mary, Christine, and Janelle never divinely paired with him? Was his marriage never God ordained? Because for so long, Kody persisted in this notion that all of his relationships were somehow a part of some cosmic spiritual design, ordained by God. In their religion, everything is predetermined. Before you're even born, you allegedly are in some spirit world, and your forever mate already has been chosen. And when you meet them here on earth, it's like fulfilling your destiny from above. So, what does it imply when Kody only now says that just Robin was divine? That the other three women were, what? Detours? Accidents? Emotional or physical fulfillment tools until he found the one? Such thinking not only demeaning to their spiritual root, it utterly undervalues the years those women spent in those marriages. If his relationship with Robin was the only one that counted, the one God sanctioned, then what did the other ones matter? Love? Number commitment? Apparently not. Was it simply convenience? Or worse, control and the rage? Oh, the anger. It's not new. This kind of behavior has a history. People close to the family, including Christine's own cousin, have said that whenever Kody got upset, he'd get up in a woman's face, puff out his chest, and yell. That's exactly what we're seeing him do now with Suki, the tell-all host. Nothing has changed. He's still the same man who uses volume and intimidation when he doesn't like a question. Let's stop for a second and really think about Suki's position. She's not there to antagonize Kody. She's a working journalist employed by the network, compensated to perform a set of tasks, ask questions regarding what transpired in the course of the season. It's literally her job to provide some sense to the narrative. She operates within a very specific structure provided by TLC, a string of approved questions, limits beyond which she can't go, and areas she's instructed to stay in touch with so that the talent, read Kody, won't have a meltdown. But here's the issue. Even when she's on script, Kody blows up. This is a contract man, a man who made a deal to shoot, to do the tell-all, to react to what had been displayed on TV, like the rest of the cast. And yet, rather than meeting those minimum stipulations, he bulldozes through interviews like a wrecking ball, yelling, pouting, and demonstrating that he believes he's better than that. And if history teaches us anything, it's that Kody doesn't merely blow up. Kody gets people fired, former tell-all hosts, such as Natalie Morales, Tamron Hall, and others, were allegedly terminated after posing questions that Kody didn't appreciate. These weren't off-script challenges. These were questions vetted by the network. But time and again, whenever someone pushes back against Kody or makes him uncomfortable, they're out. Now consider walking into that level of pressure. You're Suki. You're instructed to remain professional, play by the rules, and it'll be a piece of cake. But the moment you ask something Kody doesn't want to respond to, even if it's his responsibility to respond to it, he hits you back, loudly, aggressively. That is more than frustrating. That is a hostile workplace. And yet, somehow, he still manages to position himself as the victim. The poor fellow who only wants to love his wife and is punished by the world for it. But love doesn't silence other people. It doesn't require rewriting history, flipping off your critics, or yelling at anybody who has the nerve to hold you to account. At some point, Kody will have to quit blaming everybody else for the breakdown of his family and begin looking in the mirror. Let's discuss workplace abuse, because that's what this is. Suki is a reporter. She was contracted by TLC to perform a task, ask questions for a tell-all interview based on a season of TV that Kody decided to shoot. This isn't an ambush surprise. It's a pre-scheduled, pre-written, network-sanctioned interview. So why is it okay for one contractor, Kody, to yell at another contractor, Suki, in a work environment. And let's pretend something else. What if this wasn't on TLC? What if this was a nighttime network like NBC? What if Kody was sitting across from a reporter on 60 Minutes or Dateline, yelling and puffing out his chest like that? Imagine him acting this way towards someone like Anderson Cooper or Gayle King. We've seen it before. Remember when R. Kelly exploded in his interview with Gayle King? It was chaotic, emotional, and instantly made headlines. But it was also met with serious public backlash, not applause. That kind of behavior is not normal, and it's not acceptable. So why is it okay when Kody Brown does it? Why is it bow covered and presented to us as entertainment simply because it's on Sister Wives? Let's be real, Kody isn't some larger than life figure above repercussions. He's a contractor. Suki is a contractor. Both are professionals working within the TLC umbrella, and in this case, one professional is verbally abusing another on television, and the network appears to be facilitating it. That's a hostile work environment. If this were any other business, if you overheard one coworker yelling at another during a corporate interview, HR would be all over it. Here, though, TLC just rolls with it. They even use it to market the show. Rather than holding him to the contract and establishing boundaries, they enable Kody. They accept his tantrums, his disobedience with refusing to answer simple questions, and his bullying just to stay on camera. And let's not act like this is new. It's a pattern. Over time, Kody has gotten several tell-all hosts fired for asking him questions he didn't want to answer. Natalie Morales, Tamron Hall, several others, fired for doing their job. So here's the uncomfortable reality. Suki likely knows that taking a stand for herself might lose her the job. If history repeats itself, and it likely does, she'll be fired or she'll quit, because no one should have to endure that kind of abuse season after season for a salary. And for what? Perhaps $10,000? $20,000 at most. Is that sufficient to be screamed at on television by a guy who does not respect the concept of the program or the folks who work on it? And let's discuss that one sad moment when Suki turns her head and glances off camera, visibly distraught. She's not merely breaking the fourth wall, she's calling out for help in silence. She's looking to the producer standing off camera, the one who is expected to intervene when things get too out of hand. But nobody intervenes. Why? Because Kody Brown is bringing drama, and drama is bringing ratings. But what does that tell us about TLC, about their ethics, about how they treat women, particularly the women they employ? This isn't just about reality TV. This is about respect. This is about workers being safe on the job. This is about not letting powerful men yell at women on national TV and calling it just part of the show. It's not part of the show. It's abuse, and it's long past time for someone to say it out loud. So I have to ask you this, is being yelled at included in your job description? Because if Suki were employed by NBC, CBS, or ABC, this would not be occurring. She'd be protected. She'd be union. She'd have producers and network executives intervening the moment things got out of hand. But here, at TLC question mark, it's an open door for Kody Brown to yell, grandstand, and frighten, and nobody does anything. Why is that acceptable? Why is Kody never called out on how he treats other people? And to make matters worse, his attitude swamps the actual material of what he's writing, which, let's be real, is primarily defensive drivel. It's not about integrity. It's not about truth. It's about control. At what point does anyone step in and say, enough? At what moment does Suki utter, I can't do this anymore? At what moment does TLC finally call him out? Can you name one other show where this type of behavior would be allowed, let alone accepted? Because I can't. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you have to say about this dynamic and whether you think TLC is complicit in facilitating it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.